Welcome back to 3 Shots In. This is the first story episode of Season 5. I am Jake.
I'm Jess. And this is episode 1 of Season 5.
The studio has had a revamp, and so has how we do these episodes. I will be talking about my story on this whole episode. We'll move on to the next episode, which will be a new person, a new story. There will be 4 of us, 4 stories, 1 topic. Reveal. Are we ready?
Oh,
We're
ready.
We're set.
So ready.
Klaus Barbie, a.k.a. Klaus Barbie, a.k.a. Klaus Alterman, a.k.a. the Butcher of Lyon.
It's too many AKs.
Klaus, did you say?
Nikolaus, but he just goes by Klaus.
Nikolaus.
Yes. There he is.
Nicholas.
He was born in October of 1913 in Godesberg, Germany. His father fought in the First World War, but he was wounded in Verdun, France, and was taken captive. Already hating the French, I get it, being their POW only deepened these feelings. It was believed that Klaus's father abused him and probably beat that French hate deep inside, which will make more sense later. The Butcher of Lyon. We are talking about Lyon, France. In 1934, Klaus's father died, which derailed Klaus's current plan of continuing education in the study of theology, of all things. Soon after his father's death, Klaus was conscripted into the Reich Labor Service. And in September of 1935, Klaus joined the SS. Wonderful.
Went from theology to the SS?
To the SS.
That's quite a turn.
That's right. And in May of 1937, he became a member of the Nazi Party.
Oh, no.
Wow.
After Germany occupied the Netherlands, Klaus was stationed in Amsterdam, where he was responsible for the identification, roundup, and deportation of communist Jews and Freemasons.
What?
Freemasons was a fun little ad in there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why Freemasons?
It was from one of the Holocaust websites, actually. They said that Freemasons were also targeted.
Oh.
Yeah. In 1942, at the age of 29, Klaus was assigned to Lyon, France, where he was to head the local Gestapo. At his headquarters, the Hotel Terminus.
I think it's pronounced Gestapo.
So at the Hotel Terminus, this is where Klaus would earn his moniker, the Butcher of Lyon, after personally torturing so many adult and child prisoners. The daughter of a French resistance leader explained in an interview later, about 20, 30 years later, that her father was beaten, his skin was torn off of him, he was dunked in cold water and ammonia, and the burns of his skin were so severe that he could not sit or stand for days until he eventually died.
Wait,
no.
they dipped him in ammonia?
Yes.
What would that do?
Cold water and ammonia.
I think it would melt your skin off depending on how long you were in it.
Wouldn't it? It super wouldn't feel good. Whatever
It'd
it
be
is.
super unpleasant.
I would imagine.
Oh, man.
Other torture methods that he used included rape and, of course, sending German shepherds to tear skin from flesh.
German shepherds, the dogs, or like people who herd sheep who are
No,
also
it was sheep herders, dog. They were just straight up just like rabid.
fucked up, man.
No, of course it was the dog.
When you said personally tortured, you mean like he did it or he oversaw it?
No, he personally tortured
man.
a lot of people.
Gross.
Damn.
It was estimated that Klaus was directly responsible for the deaths of up to 14,000 people.
Yikes.
That's not a small number.
No, and because that was such a large number, in 1943, at the age of 30, he was awarded the Iron Cross by Adolf Hitler for his campaign against the French resistance.
What the fuck?
So when the war ended in 1945, Klaus was back in Germany. Him and 4 other soldiers decided to bury their guns, change their clothes, and get a hold of false papers. He was, in fact, arrested twice, but was released because they were not able to identify him. Finally, though, in 1947, Klaus was caught and identified. However, he would disappear once again.
Wait,
Okay.
was he caught and like arrested or just like, hey, we know who you are?
I
Get
said
outta
he
here,
was
you
caught
goofy
and he
German
was
bastard.
identified, but he disappeared.
Shit.
Wow.
So, because the French could not get a hold of him, Klaus Barbie was tried in absentia in 1952 and 1954 for his many crimes, and he was sentenced to death both times.
Okay.
Huh.
In
That
1951,
sounds good.
Klaus Altman emigrated to Bolivia with his wife and 2 children.
What?
What?
He ditched the
He
Barbie.
got away?
Yeah,
He
he
ditched
changed
the Barbie
his
and
last
got a
name.
wife.
changed his last name. He was already married and had kids. It just wasn't important at that point. But he emigrated as Klaus Altman to Bolivia. Just click.
But I thought he was like on
There's
death row.
Bolivia.
Wow.
Wasn't he on death row twice over?
He was sentenced in absentia.
What does that mean?
He wasn't there. They assumed either he was missing or dead.
Okay.
We know who this guy is, and if we ever find him, we're going to kill him.
Right.
Yes.
We don't know where he is. Okay, I'm tracking.
Correct. Sometime between 1951 and 1966, Klaus began rubbing elbows with René Barrientos,
That's a lot.
Wow.
the soon-to-be president of Bolivia.
He
Oh.
appears very decorated.
Yeah, that's a lot.
By
of
this photo.
necklaces.
There's a lot going on there.
I like the bow tie.
Klaus then began working for the Barrientos regime, teaching them about intelligence work, interrogations, how torture is best used.
No.
14,000. He's got a pretty good reputation under his
He
belt.
does. He was in fact given the rank of lieutenant in the Bolivian Interior Ministry. And he used this power not only to teach the Bolivians how to, torture people, but also to become a major arms dealer, selling mass amounts of weapons to drug cartels. In 1971, French Nazi hunters Serge and Beatty Klarsfeld discovered a document revealing Klaus's alias and placed him in Peru around that time. He was, in fact, going back and forth to Peru. This is them after.
Hold on.
These are the French Nazi
You're
hunters.
telling me that's a job title that I could
Nazi
have?
hunter.
You didn't know that Nazi hunters existed?
I did not know
I
Nazi
also
hunters
did not
existed.
know.
Oh, that was a whole ass thing. This was the document
Okay.
that they found. It's kind of small, but this was a picture of, this was his secret police identification in Bolivia.
How
That
old
was
is
not
he?
supposed
Gestapo
anyone to have.
identification?
This would have been in 1972, so he'd have been about 40.
40-ish.
No.
He's 30 and
Yeah.
45.
Yeah.
Anyway, in January of 1972, the information about Klaus was published in a French newspaper, and the very next month, Beatty Klarsfeld orchestrated an interview between French journalists Ladila de Hoyos. Show us, that's Ladilas de
Not what I was
Hoyos.
expecting.
He has a lot of hair.
Klaus believed the interview was to be about his career with the Department of the Interior in Bolivia. The interview was to be conducted in Spanish, which obviously he would speak because Klaus Altman is from Bolivia.
Sure.
Ignoring the list of agreed questions, De Hoyos asked Klaus in French if he had ever been to Lyon, and Klaus responded, no, in German.
Oh.
Yeah, right? There's some
So, 9?
games going on. Yeah.
He said 9.
He said 9.
Gotcha, bitch.
De Hoyos then passed Klaus photos of members of the French resistance and asked if he had recognized them. Klaus denied this,
in German.
In German.
but his fingerprints were now all over these photos.
So
Right?
first he gave him the Nazi say what,
Yeah,
and then,
basically.
and then he got his fingerprints.
Yes, he did in
Brilliant.
fact get his fingerprints, and that was all they really needed.
For an SS operative, he was kind of a dumbass.
So during this time, he became so powerful in Bolivia that he was actually traveling back and forth from Bolivia all over the world, including Germany and France and all over
Okay.
Europe.
Wow.
He could get away with anything. I don't think he was really
Wow.
worried about it.
Okay.
Well, when the interview was broadcasted in France, Klaus was also recognized by a former French resistance member, Simone Lagrange, who had been tortured by Klaus in 1944. So we got all sorts of shit.
Whoops.
Well, global outcry ensued when the Bolivian government refused to extradite Klaus. They stated that not only did France and Bolivia not have an extradition treaty, but the statute of limitations of the accused crimes had in fact expired.
No.
You mean World War II?
Yeah, it had expired.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
30
war.
years, almost 30 years have
Yeah,
come
we
by.
had forgotten about that. What happens in Germany stays in Germany.
Later in 1972, Klaus began working with General Banzer
Oh.
in Bolivia. Look at that badass. He's
kind
got
of a-
got even more necklaces.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
kind of a badass name. I feel
Long
like
necklaces.
that's what you'd name a
Yeah.
like a machine of war after
Yeah, General Hugo Banzer. There he is.
the Panzer tank.
He assisted Banzer in illegal arrests, interrogations, and murders of the current government's opposition. Many, if not all, of the journalists that reported on the regime's crimes were either luckily arrested or unluckily disappeared.
So he basically taught them how to do casual Nazi things.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, he basically taught them how to
How to
control a
be-
populace.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Damn.
While working with Roberto Suarez Gomez, the Bolivian king of cocaine, Klaus was introduced. Yes. Roberto Suarez Gomez was the Bolivian king of cocaine. He was introduced to none other than the Colombian king of cocaine, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah!
Hell yeah. The leader of the Medellin cartel. In the late 70s, they made a deal and Klaus would arrange for security of Escobar's raw coca supply, and Escobar would fund Klaus's activities in Bolivia.
Wow.
So he gave him a bunch of money.
Dude, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know Pablo
he was
Escobar.
into Nazis, man. Like, wow.
He was into money.
He was into
Yeah, I
whatever
guess
made
that's
money.
true.
Yeah. Isn't that a good picture of him?
I've
Yeah.
always thought Pablo Escobar was a cutie.
He looks so happy. It's
Yeah,
way better than the last picture of him. Oh,
shit.
Oh, dang.
Oh, he
They look
got.
way happier than he.
They
did
are.
the
They're
first
very
time.
happy. In 1980, Klaus allegedly helped his buddy, General Luis Garcia Mesa, that's not him,
Those look like my
overthrow
glasses.
the government in Bolivia in what is better known as the cocaine coup. In 1983, the newly established, we don't like them, democratic government in Bolivia
What?
elected a new president, Hernan Silas Zuazo. Zuazo had Klaus arrested almost immediately and delivered to France about 20 days later to stand trial for his crime. Shortly after Klaus's extradition, Klaus revealed just how he eluded prosecution after the war and how he ended up in Bolivia. America. Klaus was recruited as an agent for the United States Army Counterintelligence Corps.
What the fuck?
Boom!
No.
That's a cheap copy.
Oh.
I worked with what I had. So the United States used Klaus to, quote, further anti-communist efforts in Europe.
Oh.
Klaus also had knowledge that they wanted, specifically about the British interrogation techniques and the identities of other SS officers that the British intelligence agencies might be interested in recruiting.
Oh, he was selling people out.
What?
That's right. And the United States was then selling out the people he was selling out to other governments.
Oh my
I mean,
Yikes.
Oops.
good
Yikes.
plan.
gosh.
But
Oops. Almost got away with it too. If it wasn't for
no,
that meddling democratic governments. So Klaus reported on French intelligence activities in occupied Germany because they suspected that the French had been infiltrated by the KGB, maybe? The CIC, the Counterintelligence Corps of the United States, then helped Klaus flee to Bolivia through a network of escape routes known as rat lines, organized by the U.S. intelligence. A rat line was essentially just the network that they used. They called them
would
rat
take
lines.
people who were
Yeah.
rats,
Yeah.
ship them.
No, I did not say to go to the next one.
Sorry, I bumped it.
They got him out of France and over to Bolivia because France was like, hey, dog, we know you have this guy. Like, we don't know it, but we know it, that you have this guy and we want him to try him. And the U.S. was like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And so in order to cover their ass, they got rid of him and sent him to Bolivia. But he was still useful, and it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed. But it is theorized that the United States actually had Klaus Barbie infiltrate the Bolivian government to control who was going to be in power for control of Bolivia.
Right.
Manipulation
And,
purposes.
you know,
Pablo
all the
Escobar.
cocaine
Yeah.
and whatnot,
Right.
right.
CIA stuff. Well, the U.S. government made a formal apology to France for enabling Barbie to escape French justice for 33 years.
We were probably
Hey,
sorry.
sorry about that.
Soup
Sorry.
sorry.
It was a real bummer.
Our bad.
Yikes. Like, I mean, like, they only wronged France. Like, no biggie. But still wrong. Klaus was indicted for his many crimes in 1984, but due to legal bureaucracy, the trial would not take place until 1987. And I know what you're thinking. He was already tried back in 1950-something. But a new trial had to be done since too much time had passed. Since the other trial.
Why?
I don't know. Klaus would be found guilty of 341 separate charges and sentenced to life in prison since France had gotten rid of the death penalty
What?
in 1981.
They were so good at the guillotines.
That's right.
We were really good at it.
Yeah.
They were so good. They got rid of the death penalty in 81, and then he was tried in
84.
some year.
And then into 87. Don't worry, I'm keeping track.
Yep, 87. Well, anyway, Klaus Barbie died in prison in Lyon of leukemia,
Oh, I was
As-
like, tell me he was
Oh.
shanked. Please tell me he was
as well
shanked.
as spine and prostate cancer.
Oh.
Oh, ass
Yikes.
cancer. Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was only in prison for 4 years. He died at the age of 77.
Wow.
That motherfucker was responsible for 1,400 deaths, or
14,000.
14,000
And he got
deaths.
away with it for
Got
so
away with it
long.
because our government let him go, and then died of ass cancer in prison.
Lived a life of luxury,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
was only in prison for 4
Did you
years.
see all those necklaces? And he was like chill with Escobar.
Or I guess 8 years, but
all the
Still.
cocaine he could have.
Man.
Cancer of the butt and spine is a pretty bad way to go.
Yeah, but not at 70 whatever.
77.
I mean, how
it
long?
still
how,
probably fucking sucks, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but it was probably a quick death. Like he probably only had the ass cancer for what?
Do they keep
a
you
couple of
comfortable
months
in
before
prison?
it
Like
hurt him?
to give
I
you any
guess.
kind of like drugs or something?
I don't know. They're French, so
Not sure.
Yeah,
Kinda
that's true.
probably
it's,
weak.
it's wine and baguettes. That's all you
yeah.
get.
Stop going to the next
God,
thing.
I didn't mean to.
Can you go to the next thing? A documentary about the life of Klaus
Oh.
Barbie titled Hotel Terminus, The Life and Times of Klaus Barbie
Wow.
was released in 1988, and it actually won the Academy Award for Best Documentary.
What?
I started
See the
it.
swastika now.
It was
Really?
4 hours long, so I thought maybe
my
I would
gosh.
watch it while I did my notes, and
Yeah.
then these motherfuckers just started talking in French and shit, and so I had to stop.
Was there no subtitles?
Do you not speak French?
Oh, no, there were, but I was trying to do other stuff while I watched it.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch the subtitles either.
No, so maybe one day.
Sure.
Also, another fun fact, in 2001's Rat Race,
Oh,
characters visit a museum dedicated to Klaus
Yeah.
Barbie, mistaking it to be a museum for the famous Barbie doll.
I remember this
Oh,
episode.
yes,
This is a great movie.
That's right,
Rat
Jess.
race.
And it was John Lovitz.
It's Sean Lovitz!
Yeah.
Yes, this was
Oh
him
my
realizing he fucked up
Yep.
there at the
Yeah.
Klaus Barbie Museum.
Yeah.
Then they steal Hitler's car.
Yep.
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 They escape from all of the bikers.
Dykes on bikes.
The dykes on bikes. They
That's
make
what it was.
enemies with the bikers, and then he burns his tongue
Yeah.
and accidentally gives a Fourth Reich speech at a World War II veterans
And
ceremony.
how did he get the mustache? It was like
It was
paint or
grease
something?
on
It
the
was
front
grease.
of the thing. And
Yeah.
he hit
It was
his-
grease
yeah.
that he hit his lip. on.
Yep.
What a good movie.
I love that.
One of the greatest moments in cinematic history was John Lovitz in the 10 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. Klaus Barbie.
That was
Wow.
amazingly
Very well done.
horrible.
Well, that is it.
Wow.
That is my revelation
That's-
on this episode. Thank you for joining us. Go to 3shotsin.com. You can see our wonderful sponsors. We got Tilted Tinker. We got Party Patch. We got Pour More. And there's also Patreon. Toss us some cash, you know?
Honey, please.
Do it.
There's also extra content there. It's totally worth it.
As an actual patron,
Patron.
as an actual patron, I can say the extra content is 100% worth it.
It's true. I am also a patron.
It is
and
primo.
very
We
good.
don't hold back
It's
on the
so
quality.
good.
Sometimes my ears bleed after listening to it, but
But those are
That's
the
just
good ones.
good.
I mean, yeah.
Good content.
Well, all right. We'll
Happens
see you
to the best
guys.
of
Stay
us.
tuned for our next week. Next story up will be Samantha's.
Sam will be
Sweet
talking next
Sam will
week.
be going next. What will you be talking about without giving too much away?
Oh, I will be talking about murder.
Fucking murder.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
murder.
Bye.
Bye.
Turn it off, Jess.
I can't
Jess,
turn
can you
it
turn it
off
off now?
for you. Oh my God.
Turn it off. We already said goodbye.